Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy L to the B with another reaction video. This time I was looking at different stuff earlier today, and it all involved eating meat and it killing you. Oh, man. You know, for all those people that tuned in for the last video, I'm surprised everybody jumped on it. But you know what? I made one of those like clickbait thumbnail things, so everybody was like, oh, I gotta see this. So if you watched it and you commented, glad you watched it. If you subscribed, great. I think I got 2 subscribers out of that one, which is kind of hilarious. But anyways, we back again, and I'm drinking, having fun. I don't know. I think we're just gonna go from there. But look, anytime somebody's got a problem with the way I speak on these videos, you know, as me being, I say I'm a layperson. I'm not an expert in any of this information. Even though I got quite a bit of experience watching the material, looking up the material, sourcing the material, referencing the material. I've done a lot of that in my life. But disregard that for my antics, for whatever I'm going to showcase while we're watching this. Now, let's not talk about that. Right now, I want to say that if you don't care for the way I speak or I'm halting the videos too much because I got something I want to respond to in the video, just go and click the video in the description line. Don't be a little, I'm going to say it, don't be a little bastard and come on here. What was my commenter name? I think his name was Michael. Look, if you're trolling, that's fine. You troll, whatever. I don't care. We might have some commentary with each other. I don't really care. I dealt with that on other channels. It's not a biggie. But when you come on my channel and you're sincerely saying that you didn't enjoy it because of ghetto talk, you were expecting something to be more serious. Like, come on, man. That's you. You know, you come with your own expectations. I laid it out right at the beginning. So you got it now. If you don't want to watch it, go into the description, pull this video up and watch it without me yakking through it. I totally get it. I'd probably be the same way. But if you care to hear what I got to say, let's watch this video together. So this guy, he basically had problems on a carnivore diet is what he's saying. I haven't seen the video completely. I just thought it'd be something for us to enjoy watching together. But here we go. You know, I think we just tune on in, watch what this guy's got to say. And anybody's got something want to comment on? Cool. So let's jump on into this. Let me get it pulled up.
4 years ago, I died on the carnivore diet. My whole body hit the ground. Doctor tells my wife, here's the deal. He's not going to wake up tomorrow. I didn't know who to believe or who to trust anymore. And I think that's a very common concern among people. If you don't know people, your doctor's supposed to be healing you. My doctor said, if you don't immobilize your foot, you won't walk for a year. I literally rode in a wheelchair for almost 6 months. Bloody Marys in the morning by 9 or 10 o'clock. Michelob Ultras in the pool at 1. Drinking vodka and Diet Sprite because diet drinks are better for you. I gained a superfluous amount of weight. Next thing you know, I was up to 256 pounds. Sir, she doesn't want to see that big gut anymore. She wants to be proud of you, and she's probably not. I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. And I could feel my heart. I mean, you know how you get scared and your heart beats? I could feel it in my chest. I'm surprised I didn't have a heart attack right then. Now I look back and I'm like, wow, I was killing myself.
Greg, you've got an RV behind you that is...
Hold on. First of all, I want to give some people context. I'm sorry I got to stop this video right away. Let me turn this up for me because I just like to get... So Lily Kane, as you can see right there, she is basically used to be more of a carnivore diet eater. She was a carnivore person. But she's since then kind of shifted around and she's no longer a carnivore. And I think she tries to interview different people on her channel that's had kind of diverse situations and diets. She tried to do some fruit, and I think she had more of her complications on avocado. This has been a while back since I watched some of that video content because it's interesting. I've been watching all the carnivore people leaving the carnivore way. So she's one of them. I figured, why not introduce her? Because she was such a big proponent for it. And just don't get me wrong, I like my carnivore stuff. But let's see what this guy's got to say.
It's painted like the different cuts of a cow.
Okay, what's going on here? I mean, it doesn't seem like he's not supporting it. Okay, whatever. Seems very interesting.
How did we get to this point? For those who don't know you, could you please give some background on your story and how you got to where you are today with your meatmobile?
Okay, so hi everybody. My name's Greg McNair, and let me go way back in time. Standard American, standard Western diet, ate it all, didn't exercise, didn't like exercise, don't like the feeling. I wasn't overly athletic. I liked girls, motorcycles, and airplanes and helicopters. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for being quite healthy. Leading up to 2013, I was 250 to 260 pounds. There were probably times that I was bumping 270, wearing 3X t-shirts, wearing size 46 pants. I was and 5'9". I was extremely out of shape. And I take that back. I wasn't out of shape. I was a shape. And I didn't like that anymore. So 2017, I met my wife, and Lorley has a younger brother born with Cushing's disease, and nutrition plays a huge part in everything in someone's life, no matter if they're 10 fingers, 10 toes, and no problems, or full of birth defects. Nutrition is still vitally important. And he'd always been on keto, and my mother-in-law, Alicia, said, you know what, we're going to try this thing called carnivore. I've been researching it. I've been seeing these people like Dr. Saladino, Dr. Berry, Dr. Baker, Dr. Boz. She'd been paying attention to all that. And she said, I'm going to try it for Richie as well. And it worked. Then she did it. And I actually have a before and after photo of her that when I show people those photos, they're so beside themselves to see it. And then I throw the curveball. Tell me how long that took. And they said, I don't know, a couple of years. I said, 3 months. And the look of shock that washes over somebody's face, I say, listen, you have to understand it's not what you eat, it's what you don't eat. And when you eliminate things that you know your body's not supposed to digest or can't digest or it's not supposed to have in it, that only leaves a very few things. So she did it, and I had injured my gastric muscle, which my doctor said, if you don't immobilize your foot, you're going to snap that. And you think an Achilles heel hurts? You've seen nothing yet. You won't walk for a year. I said, okay. So they wrapped my leg. I literally rode in a wheelchair for almost 6 months. And during that time, I had gained a lot of weight, and I think about 30 or 40 pounds. And I went to my mother-in-law and said, tell me about this carnivore life. She told me. I said, what do I do? She helped me get into it. And it was really simple. Eat beef. That was it. I still drank my coffee. And I started losing weight like it was nobody's business. And the next thing you know, I had energy to spare. My leg was healing. I felt like I could get out and run again. I could do things again. Hey, it was a full lifestyle of carnivore for almost 3 months solid, where, I mean, I'd literally walk into Outback Steakhouse and I would buy a steak and maybe a grass-fed burger patty. And that was it. So I was that hardcore. And very long story short, I suffered through the stroke that should have killed everybody. Usually it kills everybody at the age of 70 or 80 because that's typically where you have that stroke. And my doctor even said they'd never met a survivor because the person was always unconscious. And the longest he's ever seen somebody survive was 24 hours. 23 hours that was spent by the family fighting over who was going to unplug me from the wall.
Wow. And you know, I've heard your story before, but just to clarify for those who haven't, you basically heard about carnivore years ago through your mother. And so you tried it and you only ate carnivore for 3 months and then you had this stroke. And so then inevitably the question is, do you think that the carnivore diet then contributed to the stroke in any way?
All right, before we get to that, I'm curious, anybody that's watching this, what's your thoughts on blood type? Because I don't know, I haven't gotten into that subject deep enough. I'm pretty sure I'm O positive. I was in the military. I had it on my dog tag. So I want to get into that and really get ingrained with figuring that out a little bit better, more intimate with the O positive type. Because those guys, I'm pretty sure, are carnivore based. But let's see what he's got to say. But just curious if you guys see this comment.
Good question. So I died 4 years ago, and I was on the carnivore diet. I did not die because of the carnivore diet. I died because I had taken methylprednisolone, a oral steroid, for what we thought was a cold, leading up to a mission trip that I was going on Hurricane Dorian survivors in the Bahamas. I had a cold. My doctor said, take the steroid. I said, no, I don't like steroids. Doctor said, then you're not going on the mission trip. Well, I wanted to go on the mission trip, so I took the steroid. 15 hours later, my head was on the ground. My whole body hit the ground. And laying in the hospital bed, doctor tells my wife, here's the deal. He's not going to wake up tomorrow. And so we're going to break protocol and let you sleep in the bed tonight. And they made it so that she could sleep right next to me in this little bitty twin bed. And I woke up. There was a mirror over my face where I was fogging it. She was laying her head on my chest, looking up at the mirror the whole time. And she said, hi, good morning, honey. I said, hi. She said, doctors want to talk to you. I said, okay. She stepped aside, 4 doctors at my feet, basically giving me a hard time for being a carnivore. And they said, what do you know about a stroke? I said, nothing, except you said I had one. They said, well, okay, so there's a stroke in America every 4 minutes, and 1 in 4 of those is fatal. So every 16 minutes, somebody dies of the stroke that you had. I said, oh, okay, well, here I am. And one of them was a very skeptical doctor, eyebrow way up here. And they said, we're trying to figure out why you're still alive. And I said, God, and I'm a carnivore.
Doctors
said,
do
that
shit.
I said,
it's fucking hilarious.
I don't eat plants. I'm plant-free. And he said, that's impossible. So I thought you just told me I survived the impossible stroke. You're the one laying in the bed, not me. He actually said that.
Oh,
and
of course.
that was pretty unfair. Now, I understand practicing Hindus are vegetarians. I get it. They worship the thing that's on the side of my RV.
You hear what he just said? Practicing Hindus are vegetarian. He just hit one of the groups that you usually run into in the hospital field for some odd reason. I hate to be like typecasting right now, but I'm going to go there. Profiling. I have had and this is not necessarily profiling, but I'm going to give you my 2 experiences. I had 2 Hindu or Indian doctors, and one told me it's all inflammation. Anything that your mother is experiencing, and this is while she was going through her situations with cancer, which wasn't the problem what we were having with cancer, but he really set it on just like, it's just inflammation. We get her enough calories, we get her enough energy, we'll get rid of the inflammation. He was just all about killing the inflammation. That's where all the disease comes from. That's all he would harp on. He said, I don't care about any of this other stuff, what you think these people might be saying your mother's going through, yada, yada, yada. I like the fuck out of him, right? He was great. The other doctor, Hindu doctor, was coming again with kind of like the position that he's about to discuss here probably, where they're just very like, and this is this and this is that. But, in the defense of whether it's a Hindu doctor or anyone in that medical profession, they don't get trained on that. And the whole thing is, I wish they would redirect or change that word from, we don't get educated, we don't get trained on this type of diet or in nutrition, to being, I don't get programmed with this type of information. Because what it is they go through programming in the medical field to where they have to deprogram, and it's a very tough process because your whole brain is like framed around that whole experience.
I worship it too, but I eat it. That's the way I worship it. I think God gave us the best nutrition in the world. He didn't like that answer. And subsequently, he was fired by me, because you can't fire your doctor. If you don't know it, people, your doctor is supposed to be healing you. I didn't know who to believe or who to trust anymore. I think that's a very common concern among people. I had that stroke. I was convinced it was because I was a carnivore. I was convinced I had done something wrong to my body. But the weird thing is, 2 weeks prior to that, Lily, I had gone to Lifeline screening, where you can pay a small amount, cash out of pocket, and they do testing for you. All kinds of tests. And they did a CAC score, which is the calcium score of my veins, of my arteries. And they did my carotid. They did my, I can't remember all the things. People watching this will know. Anyways, they did all this test, and the doctor came out a week later with my results, and they said, call us. So I did, and they said, you have the veins of a newborn baby.
Woo!
And I explained that I don't eat garbage. And my A1C, I think, was 5.4, very healthy. And then I had the stroke. And somewhere along the way, enough calcium was kicked out of my vein that went into my brainstem that, technically speaking, I should have been dead, like the doctor said, before my body hit the floor. That's because there's no more blood going to your brain. There was nothing going to my brain. My blood sugar was 229 that morning. Prior to that, leading up to that, for a solid month, my average blood sugar was 74 for a month. So I know what my blood sugar was. I know when it was high and I knew it was low. I could feel it. That day it was 229, and my doctor told me, my holistic doctor, she's been a carnivore for, I'm going to say 32 years now.
Wow.
She said, Greg, you could have eaten it.
You hear that? Carnivore doctor, 32 years strong. Hey, I thought I was going to be showing you something. See, this is misleading. Lily Kane, I don't like you right now. You're misleading me from me and my audience. We really wanted to see a meat eater go down because they were eating meat. But they didn't. But we got to tell the facts. So let's see the facts.
A 3-tiered wedding cake by yourself the night before and not seeing a 229 blood sugar. That was because when I took the steroid, it pushed all the leftover glucose out of my liver and into my system, and boom, had a stroke. So the super, super long story short is we got married in the chapel, in the hospital, at Advent Hospital, 3 days after the stroke. My mother passed away 3 months later from cancer. She had metastatic breast cancer. When she passed away, I fell down the carb hole, and I went from being super healthy. Matthew McConaughey couldn't hold a candle to me. I feel like I was kind of getting close towards Dr. Saladino and Dr. Chafee in their bodies.
Ooh.
Because I do have a man crush on both those guys.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
True. I want their physique. While I was recovering from this, I started gaining weight because I went back to eating carbs. In fact, after my mom passed, I started drinking again. And I was drinking.
I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, my mom passed, though, a couple years ago, but I still drink. I like the carbs. Y'all, I don't know. There's going to be some vegans. Where's the vegan camp? You know, I think it's very interesting that everybody that seemed to comment mostly on the video I made about vegans versus carnivore, that it was mostly carnivore-based style. And maybe there were some midstream folks that say it's okay to throw in some vegetables there, and like whatever floats your boat kind of thing. But I did not see a polar opposite vegan person show up. And there's this cat that says he has his channel, and I forget what it's called, but he's always saying, and I've been on some of his live streams before, where he's saying, ask a non-deficient vegan anything. And I'm like, I asked him because I was in a vegan situation at the time, but I would love to go back to him with all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what's your opinion on this? Why do you think they're saying this? And see what he says, but like, this is crazy. Maybe I'll do that live streaming one day, and y'all can see what his response is, because I'd be curious to find out.
Drinking a substantial amount with my stepfather. Next thing you know, I was up to 256 pounds, or 254, one of the two. Anyways, it was bad. My wife and I moved into an RV, sold the house, traveled the country, explored, loved life, and it became an exercise in day drinking, to be honest with you, Lily. Bloody Marys in the morning by 9 or 10 o'clock. Michelob Ultras in the pool at 1, and drinking vodka and Diet Sprite, because diet drinks are better for you, at 5 or 6 o'clock. And then I was eating hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, whatever the heck I wanted, and I fell down the carb hole again. And it was really unhealthy for me. So I gained a superfluous amount of weight. Is that the right word to use? And August of 2022, my wife and I were at, and her name is Laura Lee, by the way, we were at the Low Carb Keto Summit, and I finally got to meet Ken Berry. We were talking, and I told him I have this crazy idea to do this to the RV, and he says, well, Greg, that sounds really cool. Let me know if you ever do. Well, nice. I went home that night, and I sat behind my computer, and about $10,000 later, this is what you get.
You get the cut of a cow.
That's exactly right. So there's brisket in all of his glory. And I told my wife,
I'm a flank person. I like the flanking ribs.
I'm retired. You're not. I can't just come back and get back into a house. I don't want to get back into a house. I'm going to stay in this. I'm going to travel. And brisket has since become my accountability partner. So August of 2022, I got back into carnivore, hit it full head on, nuts to the wall. And here I am still doing it, and realized that I cannot step out of that door right there, weighing 256 pounds, without somebody going, oh, yeah, no wonder you're so big. Forget your cholesterol, you're fat. So brisket is my accountability partner. As much as I want to eat carbs sometimes, I don't. And in March of 23, I gave up alcohol, and I am so much better for it, Lily. Yes. I can't even explain. Wife asked me last night, do you miss alcohol? And I said, yeah, I miss the flavor, but I don't miss the way I lost control of myself. And losing control can be just a minor buzz to blackout drunk. And I don't want to do that. I want to be in control of my body. So.
Good for you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's many things in life that we can't control, but one of the things that we can control is what we put into our bodies. And if there's something that when you eat it, it doesn't serve you, well then I wouldn't have it. Easier said than done, though. And maybe we can talk.
Easier said than done. That's the whole point. If we really had all this control over our diets and we wanted to say to ourselves, I want to live optimal, we would not choose things like this. We would not be drinking beer. We would not be having accidental lapses in our diet and we would do what we need to do. So it's not easy. Like you said, easier said than done. We do not have control. You have to run the course in your own life, and you get the willpower. And from that, I think it just builds spiritual character. Just my opinion. And when you get really good control or police over your own sovereignty or your own dieting.
Talk more about that, but I'm just curious, a lot of people think a carnivore diet is dangerous and that you're going to clog your arteries, have a heart attack. I mean, you did have a stroke, though it sounds like you think the stroke has more to do with the steroid than eating carnivore. And I also would agree. I don't think that eating meat for 3 months would lead up to the severity of a stroke. I think usually for a stroke to happen, it's years and decades of doing the wrong thing. So I guess the question is, do you regret eating carnivore?
Not a bit.
He wouldn't have went back to it.
The thing I did the most wrong in my life happened in 2018. I started juicing. Oh my God, Lily. I had mixed beets and celery and carrots. When I drank that, and then I was going to go for a run, I drank that. I had more jet fuel in my system to run. But what I had basically just done was consumed the equivalent of almost 10 Coca-Colas in one drink. And it was just pure sugar. And I could feel my heart. I mean, you know how you get scared and your heart beats? Mm-hmm. I could feel it in my chest. I'm surprised I didn't have a heart attack right then. And I don't think people understand how much sugar they're getting out of a juiced drink. And I don't care what vegetable they put in it. So that was a really bad time in my life. And I didn't know I was hurting myself. Who knows? Maybe that led to it. So add that to a list of my regrets, right? Trying juicing for as long as I did. And I got so many people doing it with me, and we were all having such a great time. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, I was killing myself with juice. It is what it is.
According to the USDA, less than 2% of Americans get enough potassium in their diets, meaning 98% of us may be deficient in potassium. And potassium is critical for heart, muscle, and nerve function. Someone deficient in potassium may experience increased blood pressure, irregular heartbeats, fatigue, cramping, and constipation. One way that I get more potassium in my diet is through a drink mix called Element, which not only provides me more potassium, but also
Y'all, I take the same. I don't take this one because I've got a Dr. Berg electrolytes, and I don't even take it all the damn time. But I do have this one in my cabinet because Element it's just like a nice backup. All right, good for you, blah, blah, blah.
Buddy. And for me, when I first started moving into having less processed foods and less sugar, my accountability buddy was my husband. Now, at this point, I haven't had any processed junk foods in over 3.5 years. And the longer you continue to do something, the more it becomes a habit and second nature. And so I don't need an accountability buddy. Like I can go to the grocery store, I can look at the chips and all the donuts and whatnot, and I have no interest in them whatsoever. Though when someone's first trying to make steps to becoming healthier, sometimes it can feel isolating or lonely. Oftentimes the people around you aren't eating the same way. And right. So for you, you had brisket and I had my spouse. What would be the advice you would give to somebody who doesn't have an accountability buddy and who does feel more lonely?
Wow, what a good question. My heart goes out to people who are married, who do have a significant other, who does not agree with their lifestyle. I know what the biggest challenge is for that, so let me speak to those people first. Cook for yourself. I don't care if you're the man of the house, the woman of the house, cook for yourself. Behind every marriage, you still have a husband and a wife. you still have individual people, and you cannot lose sight of who you are to be somebody for somebody else.
Yeah.
Be that person for you.
Responsible, self-respect.
Then they're going to go, I think they're onto something, because they can see the change. They see the energy. I like to tell people, being a carnivore, being low carb, being a ketovore, call it what you want. Being that way is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. If you approach this from a diet standpoint, and when I say diet, that's the worst word in the world.
Yeah.
It's a cuss word, because it means you have to give something up. Think of this lifestyle as getting to gain everything.
Let me change that around. Most people ain't saying this. I just thought about it. But instead of dying it, why don't you live it? It goes with the lifestyle situation. But you know, like a lot of these people, when they're going into these directions, and I agree with him, it's a lifestyle decision. It is much easier if you have a partner that is supportive of doing the same diet. I hate to say it. There's some things that you and your partner can agree to disagree on, or you can compromise on. But some things should be pretty damn near not non-negotiable. And one of those is what everybody's eating. It is so much easier so you both can be on the same page. And I mean, you don't have to be identically the same, but you need to be kind of in the right direction with whatever it is that you're choosing to eat.
You're not limiting yourself to life when you eat this way. You are opening yourself to life. The weight loss is just along for the ride. The very first thing you're doing is you're healing yourself from the inside out, things that people can't see. They can't see your brain, but they see the results of what's going on in your brain. You know, a depressed person, they're typically overweight. There's a reason why people go down that path, and it all starts with nutrition. And if they take care of their bodies first, then they can help others, starting with themselves.
I don't feel depressed.
So to that person who's responsible for cooking for your family, cook for yourself and tell your family, if you want to eat something, there's the fridge, there's the pantry. You do you, boo, because I'm going to do me. And eventually they're either going to starve or they're going to start eating what you make. Don't go down the line of, well, I'm going to cook for me and then I'll cook something for you guys.
No.
They're going to have to learn. They're going to have to figure it out. It's called tough love, and it's called sacrifice.
Wow, I like this.
Every person
watching
do
this with my kid.
If you're that person who has that spouse over here that's sitting on the shoulder saying that's bad for you or you shouldn't do that, show them this video and let them hear what I'm about to say.
Look, I hear him loud and clear, but when you have a kid, when you have family, like you have children, they're usually one of the biggest swayers because they're going to end up saying, hey, well, I want pizza. Hey, I want some of this. And they tear on your emotion centers. And so, but seeing him and what he's saying, I really have to echo, because I have been in times in places where I just said, hey, you either starve or you eat what the heck is being fed here. And it's usually carnivore based. I mean, I hate to say it, but I am right in this situation with eating meat. Now, I know some people argue with that, but again, I tend to just tell people, look, if you're going to argue with me with that, then please give me the solution to monocropping. I don't hear nobody.
Back off.
You
love this person. You do love this person. Show them how much you love them by respecting them. And respecting them means if they're going to eat this way and you're not, that's your problem, not theirs. Don't expect somebody to come in and live for you. They're living for themselves first. And then when they are the best they can be, they will then be the best for you. And then eventually you might figure it out and you'll start being the best for yourself and then the best for them. At 53, I know a lot of people. I've met a lot of friends, and I've seen an awful lot of relationships go south because the woman let go of herself. She was drinking a glass of wine every night, turned into a half a bottle, turned into a full bottle. He started drinking a beer, turned into 3 beers, turned into, maybe I'll have some vodka. And before you know it, this couple that has this fantastic picture of them when they were 23 years old, getting married, healthy, skinny,
I love this
started
guy.
getting fatter and fatter and less attractive to each other. And as they got less attractive, one or both partners started looking the other direction. More often than not, it's because you're looking at somebody else because you're missing something in your life. Well, take care of you first. I know this happens more for women than it does for men. A couple gets divorced, and then the woman starts showing up at the gym, starts taking care of herself, and her answer to the world is, I'll show that SOB. I'm going to become the best thing I ever could be. Well, honey, you owe it to him now. Be that way now, because he married you because he loves you. Sir, she doesn't want to see that big gut anymore. She wants to be proud of you, and she's probably not. I'm going to get preachy about that because you know what? I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. I see so many people come out of their RVs and they're waddling, and they don't get to do the stuff that you and I get to do, which is go on hikes, go through mountains. I mean, I went on a 2-mile hike the other day, and nobody there knew that I had just had a stroke 4 years ago, where I couldn't even think about that. And here I am doing it. So I don't think anybody's got an excuse. There's a way. You just got to make it. But to those who they don't have an accountability partner, you know what? They do have an accountability partner. They have you. They have me. They have people in the network. Those accountability partners exist out here. The thing that stops people is they don't ask. They simply don't ask.
It's people themselves.
Go into
That's
a comment.
What
don't be embarrassed. Go into a comment part of a video like this and say, hey guys, look, I've got nothing to lose here, everything to gain. Help me.
Yeah,
I want to be a part of this some way, somehow. Let me talk to you. Keep me accountable. Find that accountability partner through your friendships. And your friendships can be all the way around the world. You can make friends with doctors in Europe. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Anybody that's got a signal.
I have made so many friends actually through social media. And I think people would be surprised how there are so many people out there who are also looking for people to talk to and to bounce ideas off of. And so, yeah, there's absolutely people out there. Though I'd argue one of the potential downfalls to having access to so many people is then you're also exposed to so many opinions.
So I know this is like a 37-minute video. I don't know how much I'm running it at, so I'll check it out right now. I guess I'm about at the same amount of time here. So I'm going to finish this up. If anybody wants to go ahead and watch this video for its entirety, I stopped it at the 23-minute mark. I've yet for the other difference of this what video that we're watching. But guys and gals, I thought we were going to watch something where somebody ate something with meat and they went downhill. But apparently the guys thrived on doing carnivore. So I don't know. I mean, I guess my opinion right now at the moment is go carnivore. And I've already been in my mindset to go in that direction just because I got a lot of big things that I'm trying to achieve right now in my life that I'm like, you know what? For what it is that I'm after and what I'm trying to achieve, I'd rather be touching some meat. This whole vegan situation is great and all. And I have like my great experiences on having the mix of all of this. I had a big, huge intention. I went to a shaman and I got something done called Cambo. And if people don't know what that is, you got to check it out. But my intention, which a lot of people set intentions, like what they want to do, like what they want to achieve, all this kind of weird shit. I said, my intention to set is that I want to be able, by the time this is done, to be able to eat whatever the fuck I want to eat. And I'm at a state in my life, which is interesting enough. And I'm not trying to boast, but my intention has mirrored what has happened. Like I've from past to present, I'm more there. I can't eat more of the things I want to eat, whatever it is. I want to be essentially metabolically flexible. And that's something that doctors will tell you that is a better state of being, is when you can do that. But I have to echo what my man says in this video, in that it's more important and valuable to eat these foods that are, I guess, just really nourishing to the body. I mean, like, I hate to say it, like, you kill an animal, eat it, but I don't know. Until somebody comes along and gives me better convincing information, like, I don't want to eat meat. I like eating meat, but I don't want to be that person that contributes to this or supports that kind of slaughter and consumption of the slaughter. I don't want to be in that state. I'm just me personally. But, however, I can't deny the way that I feel. Placebo effect or not, it is not a placebo effect. You feel better when you eat the meats. I hate to say it. More strength-wise. And God knows that I'm stronger. But I also do a couple other supplements here and there. And I do advocate, this is some herbal type stuff. And that they do play, it does play a role. Especially mucuna prurines. I advocate that strongly. Anyways, shutting the video down. Guys, if you watched it and you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, whatever. I guess that's what people tell people on these videos. And comment, share. I just like the discussion more than anything. So thank you for your time. And I will see you guys on the next reaction video of whatever the heck I make. It won't even just be about diet. Peace.